Let me start with a bold truth most people are too shy to say out loud. When a man releases inside a woman, it is never just about the physical act. It's not just biology. It's not just climax. It's not just pleasure. It is one of the rawest, most vulnerable, and deeply symbolic things a man can experience with someone. And if you've ever wondered how he really feels in that moment, let me take you behind the curtain into a man's mind and heart. Because what men rarely say openly is that it's not just a finish line, it's a language. It's his body's way of saying something he may never put into words. The way he feels in that moment reveals more about intimacy, love, connection, and his deepest instincts than almost anything else. And if you can understand this, you will never look at intimacy with him the same way again. Here's what you need to know. A man releasing inside of you is loaded with unspoken emotions. For some men, it's about power. For others, it's about surrender. And for the best kind of men, it's about intimacy and trust. But no matter what category he's in, every man feels something unique in that moment, something he doesn't feel anywhere else. That's why he can be with you 100 times. And every time he finishes inside you, it imprints a slightly deeper layer of emotional memory. Let's break this down, because if you understand it, you'll know exactly how to turn that moment into something unforgettable. The first thing men feel when they release inside you is a primal sense of belonging. Biologically, his body is wired to feel like he has completed an instinctual act of union. But emotionally, when he cares about you, this moment becomes one of the most vulnerable gifts he gives. He is literally placing his essence into you, which, whether he admits it or not, is deeply symbolic. In that moment, he feels closer to you than words can capture. Think about it. He is letting go of control, letting go of barriers, letting go of restraint. And what fills him is a sense that he belongs to you. That part of him has been accepted by you, and that acceptance makes him feel anchored, wanted, and safe. The second thing he feels is release in the true sense of the word. This isn't just physical. Yes, it's orgasm. Yes, it's tension melting away. But what most women don't realize is that emotionally, it's also a kind of surrender. A man spends his whole day in control, solving problems, holding it together, appearing strong. But in this moment, he lets go in the most intimate way possible. And that release is almost like therapy. It's where he feels he can lose himself completely with you and not be judged. If you've ever seen a man collapse next to you, breathing heavily, whispering wow, or just holding you tightly after, that's because he feels safe enough with you to fully release, not just physically, but emotionally too. The third thing he feels, and this is the one most women underestimate, is connection. Many women wonder if sex for men is just about the act, but when he releases inside you, if he loves you, it's one of the clearest ways. He feels emotionally fused with you. In that moment, he's not just in his body, he's in his heart. And the connection is amplified by the fact that there's no barrier between you, nothing separating his essence from yours. For men who are deeply into their partner, this moment is less about lust and more about unity. It's the closest he feels to merging with someone he loves. Now, let's talk about the first key point, because it's huge. Key point 1, and it makes him feel like he's trusted. You have to understand, for a man to be allowed to finish inside of you, it signals to him that you trust him, whether it's trust in his commitment, trust in his respect for you, or trust in your bond. This act tells him he has earned a level of closeness that not every man gets, and that trust magnifies everything he feels. It makes him want to protect you more. It makes him more emotionally attached. It makes him think, this woman lets me be my true self with her, and that makes me never want to lose her. For a man, that trust is intoxicating. Key point bite 2i, it makes him feel deeply masculine. We live in a world where men are constantly questioning their worth, their masculinity, their ability to satisfy. But in that moment, when he finishes inside of you, he feels like the most masculine version of himself. He feels powerful, desired, primal, and complete. And the beautiful thing is that this masculinity isn't about dominance, it's about contribution. He feels like he has given you something that only he can give in that way. It validates him. It reassures him that he is enough for you, that he satisfies you, that his presence is valuable. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Masculinity isn't just about feeling strong, it's about feeling purposeful. And when a man feels like he is not only wanted but also received by you in this most intimate way, it awakens his protective instincts. It makes him think, she values me, she accepts me, she lets me give to her. And that is the kind of feeling that bonds a man to a woman in ways he can't fully explain but will never forget. K.3e, it makes him feel emotionally naked. Most people think sex is just about the body, but the truth is, for a man to release inside of you is one of the most vulnerable acts he can experience. He is literally giving you a piece of himself. In that moment, he feels exposed, open, raw, and here's the truth: if you respond with love, with touch, with acceptance, it makes him fall for you even deeper. If you respond with coldness or indifference, he may still physically enjoy it, but emotionally it can create distance. This is why aftercare matters so much to men, even if they don't ask for it. Holding him, kissing him, whispering something sweet, it makes him feel like his vulnerability was met with tenderness, and that cements his attachment to you. Now, I know some of you are thinking, is this really how men feel? And the answer is yes. He may never tell you this. He may never articulate it in words, but inside, this is what he experiences. And once you start noticing the way he breathes differently, the way he holds you tighter, the way he softens his voice afterward, you'll realize these aren't random. They are signs of how much that moment meant to him. Here's what most people don't realize. That moment when a man finishes inside you is not just the end of an experience. It's the beginning of a ripple effect that runs through his body, his mind, and his emotions. It's like hitting a reset button on his nervous system. His heartbeat slows down, his breathing changes, his tension dissolves. But what lingers is not just relaxation. It's a cocktail of emotions he doesn't even know how to name. He feels proud, he feels connected, he feels exhausted but alive. He feels both powerful and vulnerable at the same time. It's one of those rare human experiences where he is stripped of pretense. That's why if you want to understand what men really feel in that moment, you have to look deeper than biology and into the heart of intimacy itself. When he is inside you, when he loses control, what he feels is more than just pleasure. It is a sense of union, like his body is saying, I am with you, in you and part of you. For a man, that is profound. Think about it. He may not admit it, but deep down, men are terrified of not being wanted, not being enough, not being truly let in. So when you allow him to give himself to you in this way, he feels like he has crossed into a sacred space. It's not just about lust, it's about acceptance. He feels accepted in a way he doesn't find anywhere else. And the truth is, once a man feels accepted by you in this raw state, he begins to associate you with peace. He may not say it, but that feeling is addictive. He'll crave not just the sex, but the sense of home you give him in that moment. K.4a, he feels a surge of responsibility, and this one is huge. When a man releases inside of you, especially if he loves you, something shifts in him. Instinctively, he feels protective. It triggers the part of him that says, she has trusted me with something sacred, and now I must step up. This is primal. It goes back thousands of years. But emotionally, in modern relationships, it means he feels more accountable to you. He feels a desire to guard you, to be loyal to you, to provide for you. And the deeper your bond is, the stronger this feeling becomes. That's why men sometimes act more attached after you've been intimate this way. It's not because of just the sex. It's because of the invisible responsibility he feels towards you. And if you nurture this feeling by showing him appreciation, by making him feel valued for the way he gives himself to you, he'll double down on his commitment without even realizing why. This is also why it matters so much how you handle the moments after. If you pull away, act distant, or make him feel like what just happened was meaningless, you are robbing him of that responsibility. But if you lean in, if you make eye contact, if you simply rest your head on his chest, he feels it all magnify. In that silence, in that closeness, he feels like he is not just a man who gave you pleasure, but a man who has a place in your life. That's powerful. Now let's go even deeper. Imagine the moment right after he finishes inside you. He exhales, he softens, he pulls you close, sometimes without words, because he doesn't even know how to describe what's happening inside him. That is not just lust winding down. It is a flood of oxytocin, dopamine, and a cocktail of bonding hormones crashing through his system. And those chemicals aren't random. They are the biological proof that nature designed men to bond through this act. It's why even men who try to keep things casual often find themselves more attached to the woman they've been this vulnerable with. And the irony, he might fight it mentally, but his body is already linking you to his deepest pleasure. That's why the man who swore he'd never get serious starts texting you more, wanting to see you more, feeling restless when you're not around. He can pretend he's detached, but his body betrays him. K.5, he feels an unspoken hope. This is where it gets emotional, because in that moment, even if he doesn't say it, a man often feels the silent hope that you understand how much this meant to him. that you won't dismiss it as just another round, but that you'll see it for what it is, a gift, a connection, an offering of himself. In a way, finishing inside you is his body's way of saying, I want to be part of you. And whether he admits it or not, there's always a hope that you feel the same, that you'll cherish it, that you'll treasure it, that you'll see him not just as a man who gave you his body, as someone who let you into the most vulnerable part of his being. And here's something most women don't realize. After he finishes, his emotions are incredibly sensitive. This is the moment when your response can either draw him closer or push him away. If you show warmth, affection, tenderness, he feels validated. He thinks, she values me, she sees me, she respects what I just gave her. But if you act indifferent, distracted, or dismissive, he feels cheap. He may not tell you, but inside, he will start to protect himself emotionally because he doesn't want to risk giving you that vulnerability again and not having it respected. That's why the way you treat him right after is sometimes more important than what you do during. Now let's pull back and look at the big picture. When men talk about their most powerful sexual memories, it's almost never about the craziest position or the wildest night. It's about the woman who made them feel something after, the woman who looked at them differently, the woman who made them feel not just wanted, but treasured. That's what imprints on him. That's what makes him think about you days later, weeks later, even years later. It's not just the act, it's the meaning you attach to it together. And the act of him finishing inside you carries the most meaning of all if you allow it to. So when you ask, how do men feel when they release inside of you? The answer is layered. He feels trusted, he feels masculine, he feels vulnerable, he feels responsible, and he feels hopeful. And all of these emotions swirl together into one unforgettable imprint that bonds him to you in ways no words ever could. That's why this moment is so powerful. And that's why understanding it gives you a kind of quiet influence in his heart. Because when a man feels that his deepest release is safe with you, he begins to see you not just as someone he wants, but as someone he needs. And when a man needs you at that level, his love only grows deeper, stronger, and more unshakable over time. Here's the truth most people never put into words. When a man finishes inside of you, it is not just something physical. It is a message his body is sending to you. It is his way of saying, I trust you with all of me. And if you listen closely, if you understand what this moment actually means, you'll see that it's one of the most vulnerable, revealing, and honest things a man will ever show you. You can look at all the swagger, all the walls, all the ways he tries to play it cool outside of the bedroom. But in that one moment, when he gives himself fully, when he cannot hold back, when his release is literally inside of you, there is no mask left. That is the real him. And that real him doesn't just want pleasure. He wants to feel safe. He wants to feel connected. He wants to feel seen. This is why that moment is sacred, because it combines everything he's afraid to admit. He's afraid of not being enough, but when you take him in, he feels like he is more than enough. He's afraid of losing control, but when you make space for him in your body and heart, losing control feels like freedom. He's afraid of being rejected, but when you let him inside of you in this way, he feels accepted in the deepest way a man can ever feel accepted. And all of that is wrapped into those few seconds when he lets go and gives you everything. Think about this. How many places in his life can a man show vulnerability without being judged? Out in the world, he's expected to be strong, confident, decisive, unshakable. But here in this intimate space with you, he gets to surrender. He gets to be soft. He gets to let go. That is why he remembers it. That is why it bonds him. Because in that moment, he feels more like himself than anywhere else. And whether he admits it or not, that's addictive. He wants to come back to the place where he doesn't have to pretend. He wants to come back to you. And this is where many women underestimate their power. Because the way you receive him in that moment shapes everything. If you make him feel like what just happened was casual, meaningless, or worse, inconvenient, he feels stripped of his dignity. But if you make him feel cherished, valued, honored, then he doesn't just think of you as the woman who gave him pleasure. He thinks of you as the woman who gave him meaning. And when a man associates you with meaning, when he ties his deepest physical release to the deepest emotional safety, that is when you hold a piece of him no other woman can touch. Remember that men do not crave perfection in these moments. They crave presence. They crave softness. They crave to be wanted back. He doesn't care if your hair is messy or if the lights are dim or if the world outside is chaotic. What he cares about is whether you're there with him fully when he gives himself to you. Because when you are, that release is no longer just sex, it becomes connection, it becomes union. It becomes a memory that lives in his body long after it's over. And that memory has layers. He feels trusted because you let him in so completely. He feels masculine because he was able to give to you in the way nature designed him to. He feels vulnerable because in that split second, he cannot hide anything from you. He feels responsible because instinctively he knows you've shared something profound with him. And he feels hopeful because some part of him desperately wants you to value it as much as he does. These are not random emotions. They are the building blocks of love, loyalty, and lasting desire. And every time you share this moment with him, you either strengthen those building blocks or weaken them. That's the choice, and that's the power you hold. This is why you can't underestimate what intimacy means to a man. He might not be able to articulate it. He might not even consciously realize it, but his body knows. His soul knows. And that's why when you honor this moment, when you show him warmth, when you respond with tenderness, he bonds to you in ways he doesn't even understand himself. He may think he's in control, but in reality, it is this moment that decides how deeply he will fall. So here's what I want you to take away when a man releases inside of you. Don't just see it as the end of sex. See it as a bridge into his heart, into his fears, into his hidden desires. Because if you walk across that bridge with care, if you meet him there, you will find a man who is willing to give you more than just his body. You'll find a man who wants to give you his loyalty, his effort, his attention, his protection. Because to him, that moment was proof that you are worthy of his all. And once a man sees you as worthy of his all, everything changes. So the next time you're in that moment, pause for just a second and realize what's happening. Realize that you're not just sharing a physical act, you're holding his vulnerability in your hands. And how you respond could be the difference between being remembered as just another body or being remembered as the one woman who truly saw him. That's the power you have. That's the influence you hold. And that's why understanding how men feel when they finish inside of you gives you an advantage most women will never have. And now I want to leave you with this. If you've ever doubted your power, if you've ever wondered whether what you bring to a man is enough, remember this: your ability to create safety, intimacy, and connection in this moment is something no other woman can replicate. Your energy, your presence, your touch, these are things only you can give in your unique way. And when you choose to use them, you don't just make a man feel good, you make him feel alive. You make him feel whole. You make him feel like he has found the one place in the world where he can be entirely himself. And that, my friend, is priceless. So honor this moment, cherish it, use it as a reminder of the extraordinary power you have to influence a man, not just in his body, but in his heart. Because when you do, you don't just make love, you create love. You don't just share a night, you build a bond. And you don't just leave him satisfied, you leave him craving more of you, not because of what you did, but because of who you are. And that is the ultimate secret to lasting desire. And if you're ready to step fully into this power, to understand not just what men do, but why they feel the way they feel, keep going deeper with me. Because the more you understand the male mind and heart, the more irresistible you become, not because you're playing games, but because you're speaking directly to the truth of what men need, but rarely admit. That is how you stop being just another woman in his life and start being the woman he can never forget. And if this resonated with you, don't just leave here with a warm feeling in your heart. Do something with it. Share this message with another woman who needs to hear it. Because the truth is, too many women underestimate the power they hold in intimacy. Too many women think it's just about technique, when really it's about connection. So spread this. Let it reach the women who need reminding that they are more powerful, more magnetic, and more irresistible than they've ever been told. And if you want more of this insight, if you want to know exactly what men secretly crave, what keeps them addicted to you emotionally as well as physically, then don't wait. Subscribe now. Turn on your notifications, because every week I bring you the truths about men that most men will never say out loud. Truths that will give you the confidence to stop second guessing yourself and start creating the love life you actually deserve. And if you're sitting there thinking, this makes sense, but I want to go deeper, I want to know how to take this and apply it step by step in my relationship or in dating, then I've got you covered. In the description below, I've put links to resources and trainings that will give you the exact words, the exact moves, and the exact mindset shifts that transform the way men see you. Don't just listen and forget. Take the action that separates women who hope for love from women who create it. Because in the end, this is your life. This is your story. And every moment you share with a man, every connection you build, every time you allow yourself to be truly seen, it all matters. And you deserve to experience it with the kind of depth, passion, and commitment that lights you up every single day. So don't settle. Don't wait. Step into your power now. Subscribe, share, and let's keep building the love and intimacy you were made for.